You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Think I'm gonna yak.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 405th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight we have Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
And Jess. What's going on, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Kapow, everybody.
Kapow! Show in your face. Tonight we have some gameplay. I prepared a new game I'm super excited about entitled
Mount Up.
So we'll check in with some Mount Up. We also have some iguana bits tonight. Looks like a little bit of news going on here, so we'll check in with that. And maybe people are not done already. Are you kidding me? Good Lord. Get a life, you people. Can't believe they're done already, Jess. That's not fair.
I can't believe it either. That's why I put it down there. We need to talk about it.
I'm jealous. All right, so let's go ahead and roll into our show here. We'll get started with our gameplay. Ray, did you have a chance to play any Fallout this week, sir?
I have. I've been playing away on Fallout 4.
That's what I like to hear.
And, I was sitting around thinking, boy, you know what? I have not done the Automatron DLC in forever. For whatever reason, that I don't know if it was just a bad experience the first couple of times I tried it or what, but I just have never. It was a really hard DLC for whatever build I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
And so
I didn't realize that would be the reason. It's because it's too difficult.
And it's kind of weird because it's really not. The other thing is it really doesn't give you anything, that I usually need. Because I don't build robots.
Yeah.
Because I don't use settlements, so I don't need provisioners, and all that kind of thing. So I just, I thought I need to go back in and do it. And so, I've been playing around in Power Armor, and really kind of like it. Once you get, 2 levels of the nuclear physicist and the repair bobblehead, fusion cores are lasting 60% longer.
60% longer than
you almost forget. I mean, I get more fusion cores than I use. And so my count, even though I'm in Power Armor all the time, my count just keeps going up and up and up.
Wow.
Because it takes forever to burn through a fusion core now.
I would have zero clue about that rate. Very rarely.
What I have found I'm doing, so I'll park my Power Armor and, hop out and, explore and unlock locations without Power Armor. And then when I'm going to go do something, then I'll go grab my Power Armor, hop in, go back to where I was and do whatever I was doing.
So you're not burning battery on foot.
Yeah, but also, and it's not because I worry about burning batteries. It's because you move so much slower.
And you got that stomp, stomp, stomp constantly.
And so, so I can get a lot more places explored without Power Armor. But when I need to go do, a fight or something like that, then I've got the protection. And I had forgotten that in the course of going through the Rust Devils camp up at the Fort Hagen satellite array, once you beat the final boss, you get a set of, it's not a set, it's a chest piece and 2 arms of Tesla armor. And since I'm using energy weapons, Tesla armor gives you a boost to energy weapons. So my energy weapons get +6 to the damage.
Nice.
Just because I'm wearing that armor.
Is it the chest piece and 2 arms every time? They never give you a helm or legs?
Right.
Is it possible to craft or get those somehow?
No. Mm-mm.
I wonder why they did that.
I don't know.
Not a full set scattered about somewhere.
But it's pretty cool. So it's got that blue sparky, look to it. Like a Jacob's ladder going on all the time. And
and the Frankenstein
and so then
right.
I modified Ada so that she had the same thing. I think they call it Voltic or something like that. And so she's glowing blue, I'm glowing blue. We're running around kicking
that's
butt.
Great. I have the trouble where I try to make robots, but I still don't have enough good parts. Because fucking survival mode, the robots are goddamn brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely would be.
Although
you would stand a better chance in power armor.
I would, but then I'd have to be in power armor.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. I'm kind of warming up to it.
I found a case with 4 fusion cores in it today. And I didn't think, oh, sweet for the power armor. I thought, ooh, sweet for the checkbook,
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. I could sell these for
so
water.
The other cool thing is, the nice thing is that so if you can swap out your fusion core before you get all the way to the end, they sell for the same as a fully charged one.
At 1%? That's hilarious.
Yep. Yeah. If it's got 1%, it still sells for the same as one with 100.
It is not like that in 76, I don't think. I think they base that on their value on that
on
charge.
How much charges on it.
Yeah, but I think
it sounds about right.
Yep. How long they last too. They run out much quicker. Much like, food without good with salt and all that.
What, in 76?
Definitely want it to be more of a survival experience.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of different cards you can get to make those last longer.
Right. Yeah. The ones I never use, but people who use power armor do. That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so I showed the mechanist the error of her ways. She was sorry, and went and took a nap in the bed in the back. And so now I'm running around with a mechanist helmet.
Yay!
Beautiful. I love that
awesome
quest.
Armor.
It's one of the harder dungeons too. Like the actual getting to her in that dungeon, it can be a real pain if you're not leveled up.
I'm not even gonna try it in survival mode. I don't think. Just the waves. There's like 6 waves of robots. It's so obnoxious. That last room, and where in this?
I've also got robotics expert, so I can hack them.
Oh, that's nice. And freeze. And where is Ahab and all this? I remember there's just like this relentless sentry bot at some point in the quest.
Yeah, he is. He's in the Rust Devils camp up at Fort Hagen Satellite Array.
Haven't not opened up that part yet, but I've been all over that section of the map. I'm surprised I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, it's enough out of the way that you don't typically get up that far, unless you're going there specifically.
Yeah, hard to run across.
Yeah,
that's very fun.
But it's it definitely changes the flavor. Once you've done that quest where you've helped Ada take out those robots, then the whole map is just crawling with robots and rust devils.
Yeah, they're all over the goddamn place. And I found that they're so difficult in survival mode. Well, up until this week, I was just sort of, once I saw them on the horizon, I would just sort of like get into sneak and sort of go around and avoid them as best as possible. But now that I have the double blitz, things don't really see me coming anymore.
Yeah.
Like you can attack from like, it seems like 30, 40
crazy.
yards away. It's ridiculous. And my main beef besides the fact that the double blitz is just so awesome, and then I hop back into 76 and click on VATS on something, and I can't hit something from 2 feet away. But with melee in 76, if your foot is on an edge that is like an 1/8 inch lower than the person standing right next to you that you're trying to kill, you won't be able to lock onto them with your VATS.
Right.
But today, I was going into that flooded town just south of Jamaica Plains, Hyde Park. I was going into Hyde Park, and there's all those flooded buildings and stairways up and down, and planks going across, connecting broken down buildings and such. I was like 2 buildings away, 2 levels down, and I could still target the guy like up and away. And I'm like, so the game is literally computing my pathway to that person and saying, oh, they are within the 50 feet or whatever. But I'm just like amazed. It's like, if this was 76, I could be standing next to the motherfucker, an 1/8 of an inch off, and it would be like, no, you can't reach this. But no, that's not gonna happen. But like in this, I'm 50 feet away, 50 paces away, and 2 levels down, and it still will let me path all the way up to, and like it teleports you up to the top of the building. I'm like, this is insane. I can't believe it lets you not only have the horizontal, but also it lets you have that vertical relief of 2 stories. Like that, it just blows my mind. And I'm just so spoiled by double blitz now. Like it makes unarmed feel just so useless and weak now in 76, where like that's my play style. That's how I play, But I go to it now and I'm just like, this sucks. Oh, this sucks. I need to figure something out in 76 that like, livens me up again, excites me, a new play style or something. I don't know what I need to do. It's just the unarmed is just so superior in 4. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
So
what is
that's been the bulk of what I've been doing. That, and I've been doing the chore board.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Just
I haven't played 76 though.
Oh, what sort of chore board is this? Is this something your wife has hanging on the wall at home?
No. So for all this time, I've avoided doing Quicksilver missions in No Man's Sky. But Baker told me about some capes that were available. But you have to do Quicksilver missions to get them. And so I got hooked on the No Man's Sky chore board, which is the daily Quicksilver missions. So there's a daily every day during the week, and then a weekend mission, and you get Quicksilver, and then you can unlock stuff from the vendor. But I was thinking about it, and so the chore board in No Man's Sky compared to 76 is kind of like having to water the plants at the house or cleaning the bathroom. So I definitely prefer watering the plants.
How long does it take you to go through a Quicksilver daily?
About 15 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I spend, sometimes over an hour doing my Fallout dailies. 76.
So, yeah, so that's the trouble I've been getting into. I did have kind of a funny interaction this week. So, I was wearing one of my Fallout feed Skyrimatic t-shirts to the grocery store.
Oh, in real life.
Yeah. And one of the cashiers that I typically see asked me, "Oh, so do you play those games?" And I said, "Yeah, I play both of them." And she goes, "Oh, you don't play them all the time, do you?"
All the time.
Like,
that sounds like the voice of experience on her part.
And so I looked at her kind of funny, and she goes, "Oh, I see in your eyes." I go, "Well, I don't." I said, "Sometimes I sleep."
Sometimes I play No Man's Sky for a little while.
So, yeah, that was kind of funny. But yeah, you never know what you're going to get when you run around in game t-shirts all the time.
I was at the park with Mo this past weekend, a few days ago, whatever. I took the basketball, went to shoot some hoops, and had my Fallout 76 t-shirt on. Some guy's like, "Hey, nice shirt, dude." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, all right." So, Ray, why is our instinct not to, "Hey, you need to listen to my podcast"? Why aren't we more outgoing with that, handing out that info?
I usually am. If it's somebody I think would actually be interested, I'll give them one of Lee's cards.
Nice.
So that they can follow up if they want to. But this lady is not our target audience, so I think her kids probably could play.
Okay, so I was going to say, why would she be?
Yeah, she didn't give me the impression that she plays the games. She just has experience with people that play the games.
Someone getting
sounded like the judgment was palpable the way he said it.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of 40-something women, 50, whatever age women out there playing Fallout. No one's saying that for sure. Exactly.
My wife is a hella gamer, so
yeah, exactly. But not this one.
No.
And what was Skyrim grandma name? What was that lady's name? What is that lady's name? She didn't pass, did she?
Shirley Curry.
Shirley Curry, right.
Yeah, she's still playing again.
Great. I was so charmed when I heard about her the first time.
She has quite the following. She streams occasionally. She still shares her pictures. It's slowed down a little bit the last year, but she still does for sure.
Yeah. She had a serious health issue. So
right.
And kind of got reset and had to start playing all over again.
Well, she just needs to get one of those Steam decks so she can play wherever. All right. Was there anything else you want to get into there, Ray?
I think that covered it.
Awesome. Hey, Jess, what have you been getting into this week?
It might be a little bit short on the gameplay side for both our parts this week. So I definitely played some Fallout. It's funny. Last weekend, I was not feeling the best on Saturday, so I ended up skipping our Gato activities, which is unusual. But, caught up on some shows, did other things. Went out and played in the snow for a little bit. So you had more of that. But I did get some good play in on Sunday. On Sunday, I actually did a lot of PC Fallout. So after I got stuff done for the day, I jumped in, on a friend's stream, was just kind of chatting with some friends. And then someone said, "Oh, I've got 23 berets for you, by the way, over here on PC." Well, that call of the wild, an offer I can't refuse. I'm like, okay, sure. So I went to get in, and Steam had to update because I hadn't launched the PC client since before last Tuesday. But after it updated, I jumped in and ended up joining them and playing for a while. And, once I was in there, I'm like, well, let's level this PC character. So I got like 4 levels on PC on Sunday and,
nice.
Did a bunch of events, got a bunch of berets. It was awesome. Also, this friend had just hit level 95 that night on the scoreboard, which down in Iguanabis, I have the note about people already done. He's one of them. And he had just gotten to 95. So he unlocked the cool ass new chalet hunting lodge, the prefab I was talking about near the end of the board.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to see it in person. I'm like, can you put it down if you get a chance? And so he did. And wow, the thing is large and detailed. It's every bit as cool as I thought it was from the pictures that we saw.
Now, large, are we talking like the Brotherhood of Steel Tower, that type of large?
Not quite that tall, but almost. Pretty close,
Lord.
actually,
Just
but
'cause-
wider. I would say footprint-wise. Yeah, so
I was gonna say
the
the
actual
footprint of that
foundation length of it would be probably either 5x3 or 4x3 foundations, essentially.
Wow, that is a huge footprint.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So the main building is 2 stories, but it's got like a kind of a vaulted ceiling. So even though it's 2 stories, it's probably 2.5 stories tall. And the main building is about 2x3 foundations. But then it has a big porch on front, both first and second floor. That's another one, which makes the main structure like 3x3. And then it has stairs and a little extension on the side.
Yikes.
It's super detailed though, and it feels so much like a Swiss ski chalet or something you might see, at a ski resort in New England. Or I've been to a ski resort in Colorado, but it's been a long time. But probably that sort of thing, kind of evoking that whole Swiss chalet kind of feel, but a little bit more American.
Yeah, it looked like it could be really cool. So glad to know that it actually is.
It's really nice inside. If people unlock it, I would not be surprised if a lot of people make it their main base. It has a built-in fireplace. The interior stairs to the second floor. The second floor is really just a loft. So it's basically like half the structure. And it's got a cool winding staircase up there. You can see things from up top. I took some pictures in it to kind of measure it out and stuff like that. But everything about it is sweet. Even the porch is just really nice. The little details. Yeah. So that was really fun. So that was Sunday night on PC. Great to get some leveling in, get on the scoreboard. I think I mentioned last week that now that the Cold Shoulder, that excellent shotgun, is only at level 5, it would allow me to get a really good weapon on all of my characters on all 3 systems. So I think I hit somewhere in rank 10 to 12 on PC at this point. I'm up to like rank, I think 17 or 18 on Xbox. And then this week, I also played on PlayStation a bit too.
You hit them all.
Someone asked me, they said, do you plan on hitting the chore board and trying to get all the challenges on all 3 systems? And I said, hell nah. No, no way. But I'm also not score tired. I'm leveling up that PlayStation character a bit because, I had 1 or 2 days where I played a lot, but then it was just for showcases so far. And so what I did on Wednesday night for my retro Fallout stream, that I'm doing every week since we're kind of in between playthroughs and Mama doesn't want to play Fallout 1. Sorry, Casey. I have gone and tried different things. So, the other day what did I do? Oh, instead of doing Fallout 4 Survival, I played Atomic Heart that one time. Well, I didn't want to do that again. So I went in and said, well, you know what's nothing more retro than a quest from 3-4 years ago. So my PlayStation character is doing the original Responders quest, like it was a Roundtable. And I'm going past, I had finished Flatwood, so I went and I, took my first workshop, went into Sutton to meet the Overseer, got told by her to come back when I actually knew something. Oh, there's some new dialogue, too. So we'd complained before. I remember you were surprised the first time, Andrew, that our Roundtable characters couldn't get started on her quest line until we hit level 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talk to her and she's like, oh, come back after, you've got more experience. But then now if you tell her, oh, I just left the vault, she's got dialogue saying, what? What were you doing in there all that time? It was supposed to shut down. What the hell were you up to? Like, it's really funny. It's between the new dialogue from the robots when you leave the vault and that sort of thing with her, they definitely added a few things here and there to kind of laugh about the fact people are still coming out of the vault at this point.
I partied way too hard.
Oh my God, way too hard. Think I'm gonna yak, but that was kind of neat to see. So I went through and I did Morgantown, did the Morgantown airport with the responders, and just all those subtle little differences. We kind of saw them on our very last playthrough, some of the changes with Wastelanders, but there have been more little things. The way things update in your guide, if you talk to the Overseer first, and he said, okay, well, can you give me some direction on what I should do? When she tells you need more experience, she will actually point you to AVR Medical Center and the inoculation and such now, which keeps that quest from automatically happening. Normally, after you find Well, Maria Chavez's body isn't at the airport anymore, but you get to the airport, you finish all that, you find the overseer stashed there, you go to the terminal, you do all the basics, and that's when the next quest would pop about going to investigate AVR Medical Center. And first it sends you to the terminal on the runway, and then to AVR. Well, that doesn't pop now because I already popped it talking to the overseer. So there's a number of little ways that, if you do things in the wrong order, they figured out how to compensate for it, which is good. But I went and I got that quest. I did Mr. Fluffy. I did all the early stuff. I'm up to level 10 or 11 now over on PlayStation. So I don't think I'm rank 5 yet. I think I'm rank 3 or 4. So I still need a little more to unlock the cold shoulder. But it was great to just get, I think like 3.5, 4 hours on stream just playing. About halfway through, some friends jumped in and I might have stopped leveling and visited a few camps. And got a serum or two, which is really nice. A couple of friends were there, and they gave me some level 10 armor for level 10 and a better weapon and some serums and stuff. It's funny. I told them, I'm like, don't give me serums. I'm just going to take Rat away and lose it before I get starch genes and forget. And then they made me like 25 Nuka grapes, and I'm like, well, okay, Nuka grape it is.
Let's see. That doesn't give you the starch genes, but let's see. It takes away radiation without taking away mutations, right?
Yep.
Something
if I remember correctly, it's 500 rads per Nuka grape. It's around there. So yeah, it's a really nice way to get rid of them without losing mutations. So got all that character set on PlayStation and feeling good. And then Thursday, we went and we did visit camp. So I was back in 76 on Thursday and saw some fantastic PlayStation camps. So we had Thor, Odin's daughter, was on there. She's the builder for the Wasteland Theater Company. So I'd seen one of her theaters before, but I hadn't seen her personal camps. And oh my gosh, really lush. I won't get too into it. If you guys care about that sort of stuff, watch my streams about camps. I know you don't come to the feed to hear about camps, but she did a really nice old world study build on top of a building in Charleston that it just felt. She used the brick walls and the Charleston brick walls and the Pittsburgh brick walls with the kind of dark wood interior, and then she layered some of the vines. The new vines in the Atomic Shop on the inside, and the light coming through those windows with those vines and stuff. It was so beautiful, really nice. Then she did an occult library down near Beckley. Beckley, of course, is the town in the southwest of the ash heap, the furthest southwest. And then we went and we saw Galactic builds, and the contrast is really intense because Galactic builds super lush as well. But her specialty on the ones we saw, at least, and in general, is more modern builds. So it was like all neon and like lush and very vibrant and colorful and stuff. So that was a really fun camp stream night. So I got a decent amount of 76. I even played a little bit of Xbox. However, I didn't, my goal always on Xbox is to get all the weeklies at least once a week and then a day or two worth of dailies. And I really didn't do much of that. So this weekend, I'll definitely be on Xbox doing some leveling and ranking up that scoreboard.
Sweet, man.
Oh, did I tell you I maxed Raider Rep too? I don't think I did.
Whoa.
No.
Finally got full rep with the Raiders last weekend. So now I'm only working on Settler Rep. I still have a ways to go there. I've got like a full group and a half with them, but getting off all those achievements. Oh, I also, on my achievement hunt, there's the one for get 10 encounters in the White Spring Refuge, which didn't seem to be working, but I think it needs to be listed, get 10 different encounters in the White Spring Refuge. So when you duplicate one, like you meet the same comic book guy or one of the others, it doesn't count as another encounter.
I see.
But I did finally get 10 of those, so I popped that achievement off.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm getting somewhere. I would like to. I mean, you figure you get 4,000 hours in a darn game, you want to get all the achievements checked off. And it's kind of funny because on Twitter, someone was talking to, I follow some people who are into trophy hunting or achievement hunting. And someone said, yeah, I got all the achievements. I'm like, really? They've only played for like 200 hours. I'm like, what? But their focus was achievements. And they were only counting the base game, not Wastelanders. So it's different. We probably got all the base game ones, 1,000 or 2 hours ago.
I doubt I do.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, some of them are event tied, so like things like complete Queen of the Hunt. Or do the Scorch Beast DNA quest, a few things like that. Sometimes people haven't actually done those events start to finish to get the award for it. But otherwise, I bet you do. I kind of want to pull up your achievement list and find out, but no.
I don't even know how to do that. That's how important achievements are to me. If you said, "Hey, let's check it out. Let's pull up your," I'll be like, "God, how can you tell me
How do
to,
I?
how
Yeah,
what?"
you go to the menu and you click on achievements, and then when it shows you for the game you work on, and then you go to show all achievements, and you can scroll your list, look at any game, or compare. Like, if you're like me and you're competitive, you compare yourself to others. Like, oh, how many do they have? Okay, can I touch them?
Well, so when my Xbox goes idle, sometimes it like scrolls through, different achievements on the screen, like, but you haven't gotten this one yet. And every once in a while I look at it and be like, maybe I'll go good. No, I'm not gonna.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It just gives you another something to strive for. And it's not as mandatory or doesn't feel as mandatory as like the chore board does for you. So it's actually a fun list to check off sometimes. I mean, the compulsion is real. It's true. Like I remember that time when I was trying to get one achievement in Mass Effect Andromeda for a good 2.5, 3 hours about being able to jump a chasm on a certain moon. Okay, so there's a moon with low gravity, and you're going through and you have to jump the chasm in your like dune buggy kind of thing, your space dune buggy called the Nomad. And I'm here revving, and I'm hitting the crevice just right, and I'm jumping and leaping over the chasm. I'm like, yeah, and I'm using thrusters and air. And every time, the farthest I make it is like 5 to 10 meters short. Like I just keep not quite clearing it. And I'm like, is it my approach? Is it my speed? The angle, am I using thrusters wrong? I worked on this for like 2 or 3 hours. I even watched videos on it. Finally, it turns out on my Elite controller, there are buttons that you can toggle so that you can shoot quicker. You can do buttons so you only depress the trigger like halfway. So you can shoot a lot faster because it only has like, half the range of motion or even like a third the range of motion. Well, even though I had it set to with those, it's supposed to be at 100%, it was not at 100%. I took them off, I went for that chasm, and I got the achievement first try.
Nice. That's because you had just tried it 300 times right before.
Yeah. Oh, I was in perfect form. If there was an Olympic medal, if there was an Olympic challenge to jump this damn chasm on this damn moon in your silly little Nomad dune buggy, I would have medaled. But
so it looks like there's on Steam, there's at least 27 achievements in Fallout 76 that you can't help but get if you play the game.
That's good. See, I mean, it makes sense that a lot of them are, story based. Like if you go through and you actually do the quests and you actually complete what the game tells you to do, that you get them. That's kind of a sore spot on some games. Like I feel like personally, and opinions vary, but if you're in a long RPG, especially, like the kind of games we play where you're going to put a lot of hours in, after you've done your 50, 60, 100-hour playthrough and you finish the entire main story from a beginning to an end, you should have at least half the achievements, if not more, from doing the content of the game. Marking it. You defeated this bad guy. You conquered this thing. You won the Battle of Hoover Dam, whatever it is. And I know ones with branching paths are different, optional achievements are there, but the idea that you can put 100 hours into a game, beat it, win, and look at your achievement list and only have 400 out of 1,000, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
So I always trace it down. My rule is to get at least 600 or 700 out of 1,000, and then I'll be like, okay, good enough. Sometimes it's more, but
All right, I was making fun of myself that, I wouldn't even know how to go look up achievements, but I just tilted the TV towards me and I went and got my controller so we could look at achievements, and I'm sitting here going, wait a second, I don't know how to look at achievements.
Okay, but you do have it up now so you can see it?
Yes, I can see it. How do I get
Press your Xbox button in the middle so you get the little swoopy menu on the side.
Yeah, got it.
And then if you take your stick and you go to the left, you know how you've got the menu? Go to the left once or twice until you see the achievements for the most recent game you played.
Achievements. There it is.
Yep. So click on that, and it should tell you achievements for the current game you are playing, and then below it'll say "See all achievements."
That's
is the current game you're playing 76 already?
No, 4, of course.
Okay, where are your achievements out on 4? How many out of how many?
Oh, only 60 out of 84, but that's probably because I've been playing with mods ever since mods were released. You know what
Yeah, I mean mods will stop you, and those Nuka World achievements are killer. But how many points?
1150 out of 1600, it looks like.
Okay. You're over 1,000. 1,000 is base score. So you've cleared the original. I mean, you may not have gotten all the original, but you've at least gotten more than their sum total value.
Okay.
And then if you want to look at more, you just go to see all achievements. That'll bring you to the achievement list, and you can go down to 76 and take a look.
What is that? Just all the way down this list, or
It should be probably right below 4 if it's the other one, most recent one you played. Right below where you clicked on the achievements, there should be something that just says see all achievements that you can click onto.
oh, all achievements? There it is. Okay, everybody, we got it under control here.
Hey,
76.
follow along at home, people.
Fallout 4, I'm only 72%. Fallout 76, I'm 92%.
Okay, 92% is hot. You've gotten further than you expected, which one would expect when your total with days played is probably about 9,000 hours.
Don't say how pathetic I am out loud, please. All right, let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 left to do. Oh, and I absolutely know which one of them because they put it on the home screen all the time. Troglodyte, that new one.
Yeah.
I haven't done
And
that
that's
yet.
not that hard once you dedicate yourself to it.
All right, let's see what we got here. Go for the gold. Complete buried. I totally completed fucking buried treasure. What?
You have to do it for each side. So they count Wastelander, they count, settlers and raiders separately.
You.
So I've got the raiders one and not the settlers one.
So I've got the settlers one, not the raiders one. Okay, also Steel Brother. I haven't even played the Brotherhood of Steel thing yet. So, of course, I haven't done the Steel Brethren. And Seeking Refuge. Complete 10 favors for people in the white... Okay, that's the one you were just talking about.
That's the one I just got. Yep.
So those are the 4 I haven't done yet.
That's really good. So you actually have max reputation with both settlers and raiders.
Yeah, I did that a long while back.
That's really impressive. So yeah, I still have settler reputation. I have All That Glitters, which is the settlers version of finishing the gold. I have troglodytes to do, and that might be it. Might be just down to those 3.
Well, you're talking about reputation. That was part of my everyday. Like when I would do my dailies, I would also do both the settlers and the raiders daily, quests or whatever those are referred to as. I would also tack those onto my daily chores. So, it took goddamn months and months and months, but eventually cracked away at them. And I actually kind of miss going to see what's the robot in the overseer's basement who sends you on picture hunts. I kind of miss talking to Davenport. I like seeing him every day.
I don't mind him, although I do find it really funny. On PlayStation, went to visit the overseer. He's like, "There's someone I'd like you to meet." And the someone she likes you to meet is Davenport downstairs. It's like, she sounded so excited about it. Like, meet my new boyfriend. Oh my God. You come down there, it's like, Davenport. Hello, miss.
Hello, miss.
But yeah, Davenport doesn't like me that much because since I'm working on Settler's reputation, I go and I tell him, yeah, I'll take some photos for you. And then I sell them to Paige.
Sell them to
and he's
raiders.
like, what? I shouldn't even, why did I even send you in the first place? And he's in a huff. And then the next day he forgets.
Tomorrow it'll be different. I promise.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I feel so evil. I don't mean to do robot torture, but he doesn't remember. So it's, it's unintentional.
For some reason, his memory resets every 24 hours.
Just on this one specific thing. He's kind of like Charlie Brown in the football, just like us on Starfield release dates and such. So, we all have those tendencies.
The goalposts keep getting moved.
But that said, that is pretty much all of my Fallout gameplay. A decent amount of 76, but really not much of the others. And I only made a little bit of headway on my Fallout 4 mods. I just had a lot to do this week. And then also, since I edited the last podcast, I did that Monday, Tuesday night, and so did that instead of other things.
Do PlayStation and PC also have achievements or equivalents thereof?
They have trophies on. So PlayStation is called trophies, and it's funny because they came after achievements, and achievements were way better for a long time. But now trophies are kind of fancier because they get what is called a platinum when you get all of them for the game, like at the base level. You get a special one, and there's a little bit better tracking for it and stuff than we have. So
I
that's
remember
impressive.
that now. You remember, I used to be a PlayStation person until the Xbox One generation came out. But you could get bronze, silver, or gold trophies depending on how well you did each one. It's not just if you did it. It's how well you did it and stuff like so.
Yeah, it's
not only do you get the check
how
mark,
rare they are too.
Yeah. Oh, that's it? It's just how hard or rare they are, not how well you did. I guess I didn't actually understand the not reward, but the the trophy system. I guess I didn't understand what
you
they're
know,
actually
there
getting
might
at
be
there.
variations. I haven't been on PlayStation that long, but I know it's mostly based on how rare they are, or how difficult the game considers them to be, with Platinum being the one for finishing the entire thing.
Oh my god! All right, so let's look at my Fallout 4 ones I haven't done yet. Oh, there's a lot. No, never mind. But
I mean,
Benevolent Leaders, the first one.
you
and that's-
haven't done Benevolent
I
Leader?
can't believe I haven't done that with all the easy things that you can do now. Benevolent Leader is the one where you get a maximum happiness and a large settlement. So
100%. Yep.
So, but like we've got the pommel horse and the video games and the barber chair and just all those little cheats now that we didn't have like earlier on.
Much easier. And I mean, you just put down, 4 food and drink stands, maybe 5. Everybody's sloshed and happy. Yeah, it doesn't take that long now. You just put them all down. You walk away for a couple days. But Benevolent Leader was one of the hardest when the game first came out, for sure. People were really frustrated on that one.
Mercenary, complete 50 miscellaneous objectives.
Once again, you've probably done a lot of these, but maybe you
Just
had
with
even just
mods
one mod
on.
installed. Invalidates it, yeah.
Have 5 tamed creatures in a settlement. Start a spectated arena fight. Yeah, fuck all that. I remember releasing the raider stands, and you have these little the red team and the blue team, and it's like, oh,
I did all that stuff. I did all that stuff.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
the only achievements I don't have is just a couple of the Nuka World ones. The invading the Commonwealth, the 2 that happen there after you join up with Gage and the crew and go piss Preston off. And then the one for, getting all the Nuka Kid tickets by dunking the ball or shooting the thing.
Something I didn't mention weeks ago, I was scrolling through the build menu. I was like, oh, the cage is right. I want a cat. Awesome. I'm going to get myself a cat in every camp and build these cages and everything. And then I realized, oh, it's not Mirelurk meat. It's soft shell Mirelurk meat. So I go hunting for Mirelurks, right? I've been doing this for weeks now. And even the soft shell Mirelurks don't drop soft shell Mirelurk meat. Nothing is dropping fucking soft shell Mirelurk. I haven't seen one piece of it since I've started actively looking for it like a month ago. It just doesn't drop. It's that whole notion of, oh, the game knows what you're trying to do. It's not going to let you do it. There's no soft shell Mirelurks anymore because you want a kitty in your camp. No soft shell Mirelurk meat for you.
Kill a glowing creature. And now there are no glowing creatures. Yeah. Get a disease. Suddenly, everybody just came from the hospital.
Right.
It's just not right.
Yeah, antibiotics everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So fun, all these achievements to do. I just need to turn off mods and play next time.
Yeah, so I think about that. Like, for instance, Skyrim SE, the Skyrim SE or Anniversary Edition, I have 0 achievements on either of those because of the fact that, I've played with mods the entire time I've played them. Obviously, original Skyrim, I've got the achievements. And then you mentioned on PC, that's why they kind of have built-in lists like we have in 76, but also you have Steam achievements, right, Ray? And some people care about those.
You don't play on Steam, do you, Ray?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Mhm.
And what's the reason you use that? Is it for like save ease and that sort of thing? What do you like about it?
Just game management.
And there's not much of an alternative. I mean, at this point, there are more. But if you're a PC gamer, generally speaking, you use Steam. Like, yeah, there's the Windows Store and Epic Store and GOG and stuff like that now. But I mean, 10 years ago, it was almost only Steam pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So in that awkward time between when physical copies were being phased out and all digital was there was Steam in between, the great big behemoth that runs everything.
Yeah. And they were good too, because if you owned a physical copy of a game, you could register it with Steam and then have an electronic copy automatically. And
Absolutely.
So you can
Are you guys hearing some beeps in the background, or is that just me?
I haven't
Windows
heard anything.
Notifications. Okay,
No.
good. Just making sure it's not being recorded on the podcast. Forget I said anything. But yeah, so really, that's my gameplay. It was a pretty great week, and achievements and ranks. And speaking of which, I just want to check in real quick with our chat group. Let's see, we've got Randy and Sulior and Lee and such in there. Sulior has Cold Shoulder. Favorite part of the scoreboard so far, using it quite a bit. Lee has Cold Shoulder on Xbox, and he's ranking up on PC tonight. Oh, Ray, he says he'll be disappointed, but he's hit rank 2 on PC. So he's lapping you on both PC and Xbox.
Yeah. Overachiever.
And then we have Randy playing some too. He's Solior is in the 30s now on the board. You know what? After this weekend, I'll be at least 25 to 30 on Xbox. I just need to get in there and do some grinding.
Sweet. For my gameplay, Jess, did you have anything else you want to mention there, Jess?
No, that wraps it up.
Sounds good. All right, my gameplay this week I've been trying to play lots of 4, but it's doing lots of repetition. One thing, I look at my gameplay, and I see how many hours I'm playing. Is that just how long I'm logged into the game itself, or is that if I die and waste 2 hours and go back to my last save, does it account for that 2-hour window that I played, or is it actually my character's time in the game, or is it my real time play?
Are you talking about on your save?
Yeah, on your save file when it says like 1 day, 16 hours, 43 minutes. Is that how long I've actually been logged into the game and playing actively, or is that because I feel like I've been playing for like 5 or 6 days probably, but I keep dying and going back 2 hours, so they're not like counting that. It's just like how long, like where my characters, what they're experiencing. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, Ray. I assume the save file is based on the save, right? But if you die and it loads you back from a previous save, the save is only going to count from where it loaded you back to.
My guess would be it would be a total accumulative time.
Yeah, well, I mean, are we talking on what? Are we talking on the Xbox chart? You're talking in the game on the save file?
On the save file in Fallout 4, when it loads, I go to continue, and it brings up my last save file, and it says like 2 days, 16 hours, 43 minutes.
I think that would only be like, I think say you got to 2 hours, 4 days, and 55 minutes. Okay. And then you die and your last save says 2 days, whatever, and 40 minutes. I think you lose that 15 when you reload.
Yeah,
but
that's what
it'll
I was
track
thinking.
you other places, but not on the save file.
Because I feel like if it was just the actual accumulated time, it would be twice as long. You know, I'd be in the game for five days now. You know what I mean? Instead of just 2.5 days. I'm like, oh, that looks short. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like if I jump into, say I go back to New Vegas, okay, and I'm reloading from a save like halfway through before the Battle of Hoover Dam, and I'm going to play some stuff there from, just when I'm in like Gomorrah, I did the other day. If I do a quick save or a save while I'm there, that save file shows just the time from when I loaded until then playing. And so I'll still have some older saves that show, 70 hours, whereas the save might show 40.
Yeah.
But then if I look at how long, Xbox says I've played New Vegas, that's cumulative.
And I don't appreciate them adding the days on the front of it. Just tell me 70 hours, whatever. No, don't tell me 3 days and change, because that just makes me feel even worse.
I mean, I'm not going to share your, addictions publicly, but there's a lot of days on some of these games, Andrew. A lot of days.
It's days and days and days.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I just
you don't shut
even
them
pay
down.
attention to it.
just he puts a piece of black tape over that part of the screen.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've joked before that, if you don't close the game and you leave it running and you don't log out of the Xbox or shut it down or anything, it will continue the timer will run even if you're not actively playing.
Yeah.
On a lot of them.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I spent a lot of time down in Vault 88 again. Last time I mentioned I found a trick to get rid of the Mirelurk Queen by hauling all of the caravanners down there by picking up their tent and walking it down the hallway there. Well, I also came up with a fun little gadget where I stack 2 carpets overlapped slightly, and then I line the edge with turrets. So there's like 6 turrets in a circle on 2 pieces of carpet, and I can just grab the 1 piece of carpet, and I have a 6 turret like machine, just an awesome little machine gun platform that I carry around with me to the different places. So this week, what I was doing down there was just opening up all the limestone walls because I'd forgotten that there's all these hidden passages and pathways. I was just like, well, I've got it all opened. And then I'm running around in build mode, and I see, oh, God, there's this giant limestone wall. Let me scrap this. Oh, fuck, there's a glowing legendary Deathclaw right behind it. Run! So then I went and developed this carpet with all the turrets on it, so I could just walk that around and plop that down wherever I was, and so I didn't actually have to move, because I was going to move the caravaner tent around, but I was like, I'll just see if I can do some of the turrets. But it was fun to set the turrets up on the little carpet and just have a little magic carpet ride down around. So there's like one that has a legendary Deathclaw, one that has glowing rad scorpions. I don't even remember. There's like 4 or 5 different hallways you can open up that actually are convenient because they connect sort of like behind the scenes, like they open up like back hallways in between the major sections of the vault, which is nice. Instead of have to go all the way up and all the way around and loop back and down, but they add little shortcuts in between all the different sections. But I'm still trying to get like reacclimated and really learn the orientation of the whole Vault 88. But I spent just way too much time down there. So today when I was playing, I decided I got to get out of the vault. I've been underground way too long. My eyes are getting really large and my skin is turning white, and I'm starting to eat raw fish all the time and looking for my precious. I just like, I need to get out of here, man. So I went to the Creation Club and like loaded up all the Creation Club stuff. I was like, oh wow, there's like this horse armor. Oh, that's cute. We can go. So I loaded that. We'll go get that horse armor. And then there's all the gaming cabinets. So I set up some Grognak cabinets in
Nice.
a couple of different camps, and that was fun. And I noticed, there's these dog collar things. What is it? Oh, there's dogs to rescue, and you can send those back to your camp. Oh, that's fun. So I went and got one of the dogs, the one over by the robot racetrack, whatever that racetrack is called. I forget. That's over sort of near Nordhagen Beach.
Yeah, the awesome under-implemented racetrack there.
Yeah. But there's a puppy hidden over there in between a couple of cars in a parking lot, just near the edge of the water there. So I sent that dog back to Hangman's Alley, and I'm sort of just very slowly opening up the map with the all the settlements. I got down to Warwick.
I mean, actually, I don't know. You know, people in Massachusetts might say Warwick, and it's Easy City Downs. Easy City Downs is the
Easy
racetrack.
City Downs. There you go. So,
and I say
it's
implemented.
it's probably just Warwick. Is that what you're saying, Ray?
No, just Wick.
Wick. Yeah, go down to Wick.
Wack.
I went to Wilson Automatoys, I think it's called, where all the very high level super mutants are walking
super
around.
mutants.
God damn, those guys are tough. But again, that's one of those where I sort of snuck into the center of the building underneath, and there was someone walking around the catwalk up above me, and it let me lock onto them and zip up the. I'm like, this is just unfair. I would write a complaint if I were a super mutant. That's just not right. But there's just like 3 really high-leveled super mutants and then a named one on top of that in that building. And I was just like, good Lord, this is But I died a bunch of times. Had to do, strategic takings of, buff jet and all sorts of stuff just to get the jump on those guys. But they're really, really high level. But that's where I found there's an orange case there that had the 4 fusion cores, and that I didn't know if that was like an always planted thing or not. But, Ray, whatever, you got plenty of them by now, so who cares?
Yeah.
And I was looking at my power. I've only found like 2 sets of power armor in the game. It's like, man, I must just be trying to avoid it at this point. Or in survival mode, just like the beds, they have fewer sets of power armor spawn, maybe. I was thinking. But I didn't know if that was true or not. Been playing lots of 4, having a really good time. Still loving the hell out of survival mode. But my only drawback is doing the same thing over and over and over again. And if I don't know if I mentioned it, but I finally got like Ray's suggestion of how to get the charisma bobblehead and then do a couple levels here and da. Anyway, I got local leader 2 down so I can finally build my crafting stations at all the different settlements. But before I did that, I kept forgetting where I was putting down my save tent. And then since you can't build a new, I don't know where you build that, at the chemistry bench. I don't know why all the mods are through the chemistry bench, but I think it was at the chemistry bench. And if I couldn't build that, then I couldn't, craft a new tent. So that meant even more
It's because that's the
reloading.
place that you can actually build stuff.
What do you mean? You can't actually craft a weapon?
You can't make anything at the weapons bench, and you can't make anything at the armor bench. You can modify stuff that you have, but you
Okay.
can't create anything new.
So
And
at
so
the
the chemistry bench is where you can create new items. So
That's
that
interesting.
or the cooking station. But yeah, most modders use the chemistry bench.
chemistry bench, right? Okay, that makes sense. But if I couldn't craft the chemistry bench, it means I couldn't craft a new tent, which is 20 leather and so some steel or wood or something. But anyway, I just didn't have the capabilities of crafting a new tent, and if I don't have the tent at my what's the word? Disposal. If I don't have the tent at my disposal, that means I can't save as easily, which means you're reloading from further away and redoing the same goddamn thing over and over again. So I made it a priority to get the charisma done, to get the local leader too, so I could start building these other crafting stations. I know, Ray, earlier in the show you just said, "Oh, I don't do settlements, I don't do it," but to me it is such like a vital part of the game, like the getting those settlements established and then connecting them is like the main objective for me usually in Fallout 4.
It's kind of your baseline. That's one of your first goals. Meet Piper, meet Nick, get all that set, and then I think before anything else, start connecting settlements. I'm with you.
It's how you open up the map. I mean, at least me.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, even more so in survival when you need solid locations you can sleep at and
need
save
a
at.
goddamn bed. Ray, why don't you care about settlements? You're just running around doing random quests. You just get a hair to, I need to go here and do this. But
yeah,
and
and most of the time I'm not playing in survival, so I just fast travel back to Sanctuary or Red Rocket or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And if I know I'm going to need a lot of adhesive, then I'll put an adhesive farm in Sanctuary, and then get settlers there so that they can do the farming for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll usually let Preston and them out if I'm going to be using that. So that's 5 free labor.
Make your glue for you. Put them to work.
Yeah. But otherwise, I'm just running around. I'm on the go. I don't want to be tied down. I don't want anybody to call and say, hey, we're being attacked by bloat flies. Stop what you're doing and come save us.
That is kind of a downside. I mean, I don't know what the game would be like without that constantly happening. I even have mods to make it more obvious so I can show up and help them. But yeah. Do you, either of you, you're mentioning you're seeing less power armor this time. Do you have like a favorite power armor spawn? Andrew or Ray, that like you go to get your power armor that you always think about?
I get it so rarely, but the only one I like know for sure where it is the one that's right at the beginning of the game, just sort of over the hill near the crashed vertibird site, up the way from that raider camp.
I asked because the first advanced set I always get is at the South Boston checkpoint. Just south of Boston when you're heading down the road past Hardware Town and all that down south. And there's the one military checkpoint there. There's always a full set in there that is leveled. So you can opt to get a T51 or T60 if you get it before too long in the game.
But you gotta know like lock picking or hacking or some shit to get into that little cell. I tried and I couldn't get
there's a
in.
cage, yeah.
Oh, God damn it. And then bam, the Mr. Handy general guy fucking kills me every time. I'm like, well, I better avoid this spot.
How about you, Ray?
Usually for T51 earlier, I go, part of my normal routine is to stop at the Super Duper Mart and get the magazine, kill the ghouls, do all that in there, and then I'll run over to the retirement home.
Okay. Yeah, I know where that is.
Mystic Pines or something like that.
Totally Mystic Pines. Good memory. With the flamingo out front. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the water, right behind that, there is a set of power armor. And it's underwater, so you do have to, be deliberate about it.
Like the one that sometimes spawns in the center north. I know that one. I did not remember that there was one in the water behind Mystic Pines. That's awesome. Maybe I've seen it, but I didn't remember it.
Yeah, you can kind of make out the crashed vehicle in there. I think there's a vertibird and a troop transport in the water there.
Yeah, those crashed vertibirds and transports are good indicators.
Yeah, and then there's also one underwater right behind Jamaica Plain.
Right. Okay.
In that little pond behind the church.
Sometimes, isn't there a set on the vertibird that's just kind of the east of Sanctuary? Like if you go to the area where you never go, because I mean, I don't know about you, but pretty much all of us go south from Sanctuary and then maybe over as far as like the Robot disposal yard and that with the Sentry Bot. But like in the straight east area, there is a crashed vertibird up right near the northern edge. And there's often power armor there too. I forgot about that one.
There must be some sort of gyroscope in the feet of those power armor because you never see them tipped over. They're always standing upright and perfect.
Very good point. Yeah, you never find them flat on their back.
Yeah. Well, they're hard to stagger.
Plus, they'd be hard to get back up into. You're like a tortoise. You get knocked over one of those, you're just like flailing,
you're
kicking.
So someone please help. Tip me up, please. Yeah, so that's most of my Fallout 4 gameplay there. Oh, but Ray, you mentioned, well, I don't build robots. I don't need provisioners. And I was like, oh, fuck, I could build robots as my provisioners. I don't need to send settlers to do that. God damn it.
But all you have to do is get through that first fight.
Get the schematics.
And if you wait long enough, Ada will take care of most of them before she gets taken down.
It took me 15 tries to beat that battle in survival mode. I should have just waited under the bridge for her to finish everything for me.
It's really tough. It's quite the battle, especially when you finish up, you think you're done, and the Sentry Bot shows up. It's rough.
Yeah, before you go there, you can craft robot repair kits. So you've got some of those. So if you can sneak up and get her fixed after she's taken out a few of the robots, and they finally overcame her, you can sneak in there, give her a quick cattle prod, and get her back on her feet, and she can keep
back
working.
In the action. It's like Rocky or something. You're like, you got this, Hoss. Give him a slap on the back, a quick sip of Gatorade, and send him back in the ring. That's awesome. I didn't know that she could do that. Take care of that many of them for you.
I didn't know you could create the robot repair kits before opening up Automatron.
Yep.
How do you make those? I assume it's some crazy, stupid ingredients that are impossible to get, right?
It wasn't that big of a deal. I don't remember exactly what I needed. I have to look it up.
I went to build something. I think it was one of the vault enhancement, like the Photoraptor or the bike. It was the bike. It takes buff out to build the bike. I didn't have enough buff out. That was the ingredient I was missing to build the bike. I was like, what?
That's an odd thing. So are you feeding Clem buff out to keep him pedaling?
I must be.
Oh my goodness, Vault Tech.
And so it's 2 circuitry, 4 fusion cells, 2 springs, and 1 steel.
Fusion cells, weird.
So you just
like
got those
ammo,
ones that
ammo
had,
for a laser gun fusion cells, those things.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. I mean, it's a robot repair kit. You need to give them energy somehow.
Yep.
Why not from a fusion cell?
Yeah,
I
like
guess,
batteries.
I guess.
But you said you got some dogs and stuff too. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just one of them, and I got the other marker open, and it's all the way back north of Sanctuary Hills. It's all the way up in the fucking northwest corner of the map. I'm like, God, I'll never. I might be done with that part of the map. I don't know if I'm going back there.
Well, you keep your eye out for Gene.
Oh,
He'll sell you a junkyard dog.
I love those
And I'm
junkyard
running
dogs.
absolutely everywhere. I'm surprised I haven't seen Gene 10 times already.
I see him the most often on the west side. You know what I mean? Fort Hagen South, going down there.
Really?
Down the Poseidon Energy. And
I seem to remember him roaming up and down the coastline on the east side of the map. That's so funny.
yeah, I always meet him on the west side. That is interesting.
And I haven't been to Far Harbor yet, but there's, what's his name, Erickson in the Crash Plane site, the super mutant who trains dogs. He'll let you send all the different breeds. There's a super mutant hound, a wolf, and I don't
That
remember
dude
what
for
else.
sure.
But yeah, you
Yeah.
can get all three kinds of dogs, I think.
And he's better about it. I always feel guilty taking the dog from Gene because he's like, oh, well, I didn't know anyone was actually going to take him.
I
And he
like
like
this-
just kind of this puppy dog look in his eyes.
he's
and
my best
he's like, I mean,
friend.
man, if you promise to give him a good home. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not taking your dog. Forget it. Okay, cancel. But once you get one, it's not that bad.
I wish
after
you could
that.
just click on Gene and be like, hey, Gene, go to fucking Sanctuary, dude. Hang out.
Yes. Get us a settler who also breeds dogs.
I'll
Fantastic.
build you a kennel.
But I was mentioning the cat cage earlier. There's probably a dog cage. I assume I can get
There
dogs to
is.
the camp that way, too.
Yeah. Yeah, in my zoo on Spectacle Island, my zoo settlement, got all kinds of cats and
That
dogs.
would be a fun project to work.
Gorillas.
Getting those cages going, yeah.
hmm
Oh, and your battle arena bullshit. That sounds great.
That's where I took care of it. Absolutely. Red team, blue team. Welcome to the arena, blue combatant.
Oh,
Sorry, that's
joy.
an Oblivion reference.
I was bitching last week about my remote woes. Those are still going on. I thought I got it fixed yesterday, and it was working pretty well today. And then one thing I don't like about opening up the Xbox app, playing in game, you can't see what time it is on your phone, so you back out of the app real quick. But when you try to load back into the app, it can't connect. I just wish that the time would show in like the little corner or something, because I have to check the time to see how much time I have left on my lunch break or whatever, and then it won't reconnect. So I mean, it was working for 20 minutes today, you guys. I've had my remote working that, and I can tell the support people are just fucking sick of me. You know what I mean? Like
That
I
said,
doubt,
you still have the problem.
I doubt
And
it's the
this-
same person I'm dealing with every day, but I can guarantee that whoever it is, they're tired of my ass.
And is this on the new
Hello,
phone?
Andrew.
Like
Oh,
you
gosh.
again. Oh,
They're drawing
boy.
straws.
Who's got him today? Short straw.
No,
Yeah.
but do you now you're getting a new phone, right? Do you have that yet, or is that still coming?
No, that was supposed to show up today, and of course did not, because me. Hello, luck. But no, it didn't. It didn't show up. There's some weird problem, but they were saying, oh, it's probably just your operating system. Update your operating system. So I got my operating system all updated and everything, and it worked for like 2 minutes, and then no, didn't reconnect. And then they're like, oh, here, do all this shit, and it's like, log into the Xbox. Log into your particular account. Now go offline. Now go to remove account from Xbox. I'm like, wait a second, is this going to hurt my games? They're like, no, if you're connected to the Xbox Live, your game saves will be saved in the cloud, so you don't need to worry about any of that. And I was like, how do I check and see if I'm on Xbox Live? And I don't want to accidentally have shut that off and then, and then remove stuff and then not have my save on. So anyway, they gave me this list of how to remove your account from your Xbox, shut down your Xbox, removed all local saved games from the Xbox. I'm like, I'm going to fuck this up, and I'm not.
And none
was
of which
so-
you really even needed, right?
Well, it turns out I did all that shit and then turned it on, and boom, remote worked great for, an hour. maybe not an
Oh,
hour.
well, that is
Maybe
something
for
then.
half an hour, and then, I had to look at the time, so I backed out of the app, looked at the time, opened the app right back up. It used to be that when you did that, it would reconnect immediately, and you could just hop
Sure.
right back into where you were. But it just, spinning circle. Nope, sorry, no, can't reconnect and everything. But I had promise, you guys, for 30 minutes today, I saw the goddamn light. And I was like,
You made
yeah,
progress.
it's over. This madness, the nightmare is done.
Fingers crossed the new phone helps when that comes in.
Yes, we will see. But I have the most recent Apple operating system all updated, and everything is current, and so I don't know. It did the same. It behaved the same exact way on my wife's iPad, which is, has the current update and everything. Because they were like, "Oh, it must be your device. Go check it on the iPad, dummy." And I'm like, "I did check it on the fucking iPad, jerks." Maybe that's why they dislike me, because I'm calling them jerks all the time.
Yeah, that's
No,
not
that
necessarily a term
couldn't
in
be
German.
But anyway, I'm just pulling out my hair, trying to get the damn remote thing to work. But it did work for a little bit today, and I was so happy, but was not meant to be.
When you were in 76, did you get any gameplay in?
Yeah, a little bit here and there doing the scoreboard. I'm up to score 41 now. But I would be higher, but I'm not doing West Tech anymore because my extracurricular game time is now not spent in, just sort of churning the 10,000K experience thing anymore. It's now spent scrapping limestone walls in Vault 88 and Fallout 4. So I'm not doing West Tech anymore during like my free time, my gaming time. That is now spent all in the Fallout 4. So I would be higher. I can't believe you said people are already done. That's crazy.
Well, that's just a few people who are specifically going for the XP rollover, who really like to grind it, and some who actually bought it. I mean, of course, naturally, people who play regularly, like Alex or you, or people who just try to get all the score they can, they're in the 40, 50 range max, I think.
Well, our power levelers are Toxic Fuzzball and Nino. Those guys are usually done.
They're often done
after a
3-4
couple
weeks.
Yeah. Well, good for you guys. Good. Let's see. What have I been doing at 76? I notice every hour at the top of the hour, you have those mutated events, public events, right? Are they now not public events? Are these mutated events?
Still, yeah, they are mutated public events. They're still public events.
Still
Mutations
public
only
events.
happen at the public events, top of the hour.
Then something has changed, because when I die, I'm dropping a loot bag at those, but not at normal other public events. Only at the mutated public events, I'm dropping a loot bag when I die.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I thought it was still just not standard public where you don't drop the loot bags at public events.
Yeah.
I don't know. That may be a thing that they are working on. I have not seen a bug report on that yet. But speaking of loot at them, have you noticed that at a lot of the major public event locations, they have added stash boxes to the game?
No, I did not.
Almost all of them, almost all the big ones have a stash box there now. Not just like a scrapping location, but some
Neat.
stash.
Well, that's good. One thing I have really appreciated is the cameras. Take a picture like almost every day. I really am glad that the take a picture of stuff is back. I always liked that one. And I made a new camera because I was like, well, where the fuck did that thing go? So I don't know what I did with my camera, so I had to build a new one. But I noticed there's a paint for it now. Have you put on the paint job for the camera?
Got the Mothman camera. Is that the one you put on for the paint
No,
job?
I don't even know what it's called. The garden camera skin or something. It's like sort of half
Oh,
orange,
yeah.
half green. God, it's adorable. I'm like, this is cute. I love this. This is really
I've got a
nice.
Mothman skin on mine that's a little bit purpley, kind of like the Mothman power armor. And it's great because it keeps you from scrapping it too. So dual purpose.
Very nice. Yeah, it keeps me from scrapping, so I won't have to look for my camera next time. They're doing lots of. I even had 2 of them in one day on one list. Is scrap 10 things to make lead, scrap 10 things to make plastic, scrap 10 things, blah blah blah. But you're scrapping the bulk items all right off the Tinker Bench. That tip works great. Did it twice in one day. You checked off 2 out of the 6 achievements in about 4 seconds. So that was really appreciated. I love it when they do that. The daily quests are back. Like I don't know if it's every day. Usually it seems like it's either a daily quest or a daily ops. Now,
Yep.
I'm very appreciative that the daily ops are not every day, because those are the biggest time suck of all of the daily quest, or not quest, but daily chore board shit that you have to do every day. That was always like the biggest time suck, 10 minutes.
One of the biggest,
daily
yeah.
ops. But I'm glad you don't have to do that every day. But it is nice that they do the daily quest toggle back and forth, because you can just go down and, toss the whatever that hunk of trash is through the tires, or eat some hot dogs or something real quick down at Camden Yards. You can knock out those dailies
Sometimes
real
I
quick.
make bad choices and I go up to Thrill of the Grill and I got to go get like 3 or 4 different kinds of meat and cook it up and then get some veggies. And I'm like, why did I do this
that
one?
No,
Yeah,
it's
but I
like
do.
collect 5 Radstag. Now go get some carrots. Now go get Jesus criminy, dude. Yeah, no thank you. So
It's worth a few more points, though. What's interesting thing about a lot of those dailies is they are worth more XP. The Camden Park ones, you might remember about 2 years ago, they increased the XP you get from dailies to encourage people to do them more. But then on the Camden Park ones, people did the most. They halved the XP you get
took
from
them
those.
away. Like, we see what you're doing. Speaking of those top of the hour mutated events, I just noticed yesterday that I'm getting like how there's like the treasure hunter rewards, or the little gifts, the holiday gifts you can make, and all that sort of those. There's like, I'm getting a little bag thing here. What is this little box or bag of gifts you get from those? What, you know what I'm talking about? Come on. A mutated pack or something.
The mutated party pack. Sorry,
Party
I was saying
pack.
goodnight to Sulior, so I missed what you were talking about for a second. I apologize.
Yeah, mutated party pack.
So those are wonderful. I mentioned last week, about how the events were coming along and you're getting some rare plans. Still getting them. Some rare outfits, some cool plans, lightings, and stuff like that. That's been pretty awesome. Additionally, I talked about last week about how the reroll mechanic, which you probably had a chance to use some this week now, how it seemed to be categorical, and you'd quite often get one in the same category on the first reroll, and maybe a second would take you out of it.
Yeah.
I'm not alone in seeing that. I heard other people talking about that, and then going over to the Bethesda Discord and the official bug report things, there are people talking about that too, about how they don't want to keep spending their rerolls to get a challenge in the same category. Can that get mixed up? So people are asking for it. Hopefully they look at that.
Well, I don't mind it being in the same category. Like for example, if it's kill 10 trogs and I don't want to fucking go into an expedition, I'd rather spend that again and kill 10 super mutants. That's a lot easier for me. So I don't mind it being in the same category.
That would be awesome. When I say category, I mean, it says kill 10 trogs, you respin it, it says kill 10 fanatics, or you respin it and it says kill yourself a trog devourer. And you're like, I don't want to kill a trog devourer.
I don't want a goddamn expedition. Yeah, I get that. One thing that was super annoying for this week was, we talk about sell a Mirelurk Queen steak to a vendor. That I don't mind that. Anyway, that's great. Yesterday or a couple days ago, or maybe it was one of the weeklies this week, was sell a Scorch Beast steak, and I was like, okay, let's go kill a Scorch Beast and get a steak. All right, let's get a piece of Scorch Beast meat, and I did like 12 fucking what are those sites called? What are their sites called where they crawl out of the ground? What are those fission sites? No,
Fissure
sites. So I did like 12 of those, killing Scorch, and nothing. I'm getting lungs and brains and livers and all sorts of shit, but never a piece of meat. And I'm like, how the fuck do you get a piece of meat off these guys? And I had to, like, eventually it was so low that I was like, I got to look this up. What is going on? So I looked up Scorch Beast meat. There's only like a 10 or 15% chance for them to spawn off of any given normal Scorch Beast. The Scorch Beast Queen has a lot higher chance of having a piece of meat on her, but I was just like, why distinguish between the brain and the liver and the lungs and the bones and the blah blah blah? Just give me a goddamn piece of meat. But they so it's really low. But there's also, if you find the Scorch Beast nests, you can look in those, and that has a higher percentage chance of spawning in one of those. And I was like, okay, now where do you find those? Oh, but remember that top of the building you go to for the robot fight, and that one with there's scorch beasts all flying around you for the mayor of Watoga or
Mayor
whatever.
for a day. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like 5 scorch beast nests up there. So I like went up there and looked, and nothing. Hopped a server, went up there and looked, nothing. I was like, where the fuck is this guy? So for a couple of days, I wasn't finding me. But last night when I was finally hopping around to a couple more fissure sites, I did find. I finally found a scorch beast stick. But I was just wondering if anybody else had that much trouble. It was just like days in a row hopping for like 7 or 8. I would get the rounds. I'm not. You know how we used to like have to hop and go to like, where I'm farming fusion core, so I know where all the power armors are. I'm gonna just hop to these different locations. I was treating that like for the Scorch Beast piece of me, I'm like, I'm hopping to all these fissure sites and I'm going on farming and collecting. Oh God, it was such a hassle.
That's really unusual to not get it within the first beast or 2. I just got it from the Queen, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I just should have waited for someone to drop a bomb on the Queen and go down there, but I don't see people doing that much anymore. I don't know why. Maybe it's just happenstance, but I don't notice people like doing the like lining up 3 different bombs right there, boom, boom, boom. Doing that. That used to be a big thing.
I'm still seeing a decent number of drops, but it's probably time of day you're playing. Probably people focused on the scoreboard. People do nukes more when they're bored. And if they got scoreboards to do and stuff like that, then maybe they're focused on that again. And I mean, turnover too. Yeah. Some of the newer players coming in aren't really up to dropping nukes yet.
At the risk of manifesting this disaster of an idea, why don't they have a weekly of drop a nuke? You know what I mean? Did they used to do that in the past?
I feel like maybe back when they would do dailies that would give us atoms, they did have that a few times.
Did they? Okay.
Or at least maybe, complete Scorched Earth, which, of course, if you want that to happen, you could make it happen.
We all know that they listen to this show, so do not do that, you programmers. Do not
that
do
thing
that.
He just spoke into existence.
I just spoke.
Retract it.
Please. Go back and erase that. All right, let's see. What else have I gotten into? Scorch Beast Steak, Fallout 52, I think that's just about it for all of my gameplay there. So, thanks for listening to all of that mumbo jumbo. Let's go ahead and roll into the rest of the show here. A couple of weeks ago, I was joking. I don't even know if I said this out loud or if this was just in our chat. I was just like,
it was in our chat.
Hey, Jess, your AI stuff, we've been having artificial intelligence sort of like do different things related to the show. Let's just have that create our show notes. Let's see what it would look like if this artificial intelligence programmed the Fallout feed for an episode. So, and I was just kind of joking, but Jess was like, let's do that.
I mean, it's given us a sheepsquatch story with some dubious parts, but it was there. It's done a trivia contest for us with some really enjoyable margin notes. So yeah, I said, what about giving us a whole podcast? So basically what I did was give it a script or 2 during conversation, like, hey, here's kind of our show notes, and just basically like dropping in some basic show notes, and write me a podcast about the game series Fallout for 3 people having a discussion. Okay, so we actually got a result, and some of this is a little bit uncanny. I'm actually like amused and horrified. So if you go to the episode show folder right now, you'll see there's a document in there called the Wastelanders Podcast, if you want to open that up and follow along with me.
Let me take a look here.
So the podcast name, like, honestly, the AI might as well at me. They named our new Fallout podcast the Wastelanders Podcast.
You Wastelanders, what?
Yeah, I'm like, really just at me. That's your cool yet, generic, universally applicable name.
Oh,
anyway.
That's perfect.
Got that.
Perfect. Nailed it.
So episode title, Fallout versus Starfield. Which one will be better?
No way.
Interesting.
So it's got its
topical.
fucking thumb on the pulse of what is actually currently happening today, too. That's amazing.
When I asked it to write an outline, I did give it a paragraph or so. And I did say, using news from within the last month regarding Fallout. And, with a section about Starfield. So it did pull in everything I kind of asked for. But I wasn't super specific, just enough to kind of make it current, make it relevant, like we would do ourselves when kind of planning things.
Well,
so yeah,
you have to answer it.
Which one will be better, it said. So then topic, comparing and contrasting. Notice the language there? Notice that language. Comparing and contrasting Fallout and Starfield based on recent news and rumors. Introduction. Okay, I'm going to read you the introduction. Welcome, listeners, to the Wastelanders podcast, where we talk about everything related to video games and the Fallout series. Introduce ourselves as Bob, Alice, and Charlie, three
Ooh.
avid gamers and Fallout fans.
Can I
It
be
gave us names, you guys.
Can I be Alice, please?
Well, it's ridiculous that two guys and a girl. Like,
Yeah,
how
they
did
nailed
they?
Well-
It didn't have that much information. I'm just giving it like a basic
Yeah.
paragraph, and I'm not telling it the gender of the people who are talking or any of that. But yes, we got it.
It listens to our show.
Give an overview of what listeners will hear in this episode. We will discuss some of the latest news and rumors about Fallout and Starfield, play a game of trivia, and share our thoughts on food in the Fallout universe.
What?
Read with feet.
What?
Read it and weep.
We haven't talked about food in a while, you guys.
Transition. Ask each other what you have been playing lately. Share your opinions on some of the recent releases and updates. Segue into the main topic of the show by mentioning that we are all excited for Starfield, but also curious how it will compare for Fallout.
It's amazing.
Next section, discussion. Discuss some of the news headlines about Fallout or Starfield within the last month. Okay, so I told it to pull, like I said, stories within the last month about referencing Fallout or Starfield. So here's what it got. Story number 1, Starfield may be using a feature from Fallout 4. How do we feel about this? So what they're talking about are the fact that in the news on the gameplay trailers, and this actually isn't as recent because this, I believe, was taken from footage from the actual trailer. They talk about how, here we go. Let me pull that up and read this. Okay. This article comes from, is it Game Rant? Yes, Game Rant. So it's saying Starfield may be one of the most hyped up games this generation. Recent announcement gave us a full release window, and it shows there's a screen where you can see footage from the game. And as blurry as it is, you could see some information in it. And one detail they saw was that there is a favorites wheel. So it's the kind of same favorite system as Fallout 4, where you're pressing on the D-pad and the wheel comes up and you can assign weapons to favorites. Like, to me, okay, duh. Like, we don't really need to write a story about that.
Yeah.
But that is what the podcast said to talk about. So, yeah, how do we feel about this, you guys?
I think that's more New Vegas with the wheel. I guess that's a command wheel, not a favorites wheel, I guess. Huh. We don't actually need to have the conversation.
No, we don't, but that is what it told us to talk about. And then it says, do you like or dislike the favorite system from Fallout 4, and how do you think it will work in Starfield? So that was discussion point number 1. Discussion point number 2, it said, why Starfield could use a VATS equivalent. And it pulled an article from, what was it, from Game Ranks. We had Game Rant and we got Game Ranks. Basically talking about, is there a VATS equivalent? How will people target? Will the gunplay be good enough? And why Fallout VATS stood the test of time. So that was discussion topic number 2.
You don't want to shoot guns in space. What happens if you damage the outer hull of your ship? You're fucked.
It's not smart.
Don't take
it is
guns.
not smart.
Don't take guns in space.
And then finally, the third discussion topic was Fallout can't be just another Fallout or Skyrim. And talking about how it needs to bring something new and not just retread the same areas, blah, blah, blah. So those are the 3 discussion topics it gave us. Then, next section, play a game of trivia where we ask each other questions related to Fallout or Starfield, such as, when was the first Fallout game released? Answer.
2276. I don't remember.
Pretty close. So no, but notice it doesn't, if you guys are following along with me, it doesn't give us the answers here. It just told us questions to ask.
It
So,
doesn't
don't actually
tell
give
you
the
the
answer key.
to the trivia. You have to look
But
it
of
up.
course, it's 97 for Fallout 1 that we just played. Question 2, what is the name of the main protagonist in Starfield?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. Whatever you name them, because they don't have a name. Didn't give us an answer there.
Yeah.
What is the name of the currency used in Fallout?
Oh, yeah.
Depends
Yes.
on which Fallout.
Exactly.
No shit. There's 15 of them in goddamn 76. Yeah.
And then it says, what is the name of the spaceship featured in Starfield? Now, we're going to be able to name our own spaceship. So I think they're basically looking for the name of the Constellation ship, that it says Constellation on it.
That's called
I don't know.
Shippy McSpaceship.
Mm-hmm. What is the name of the faction that controls most of Washington, D.C. in Fallout 3? I imagine, do you think they're talking about super mutants there? Probably.
Or Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, that's true. It could be Brotherhood of Steel.
I was
That
gonna
would be a
say
good
I
answer.
was gonna say Enclave, but that's wrong.
Yeah, they want to control it, but they don't for most of the game. And then, what is the name of Todd Howard's dog that inspired one of the alien races in Starfield? So this is
Dog
actually
meat.
a good trivia question. No, his dog's name is River. And in an interview, I think like 2 years ago, it was early in Starfield news stuff, he mentioned how his dog River inspired one of the races you're going to meet, some of the creatures in the game, and they're really cute and lovable. But didn't tell us more than that. So I think we're going to get space dogs. Space dogs confirmed.
Oh, space dogs. We're gonna have to shoot them though. That's not fun.
And then finally, AI suggested we discuss food in the Fallout series. Questions such as, what are some of our favorite or least favorite foods we've encountered or eaten in the games? How realistic or appetizing are they? How do they reflect the culture or environment of the wasteland? And how do they compare to food items from other video games? So wow, they really want to give us some serious food discussion.
Yeah, that's pretty in-depth food talk there, man.
And then conclusion. Wrap by summarizing our main points and opinions on the topic. Thank our listeners for tuning into the Wastelanders podcast and invite them to leave feedback, subscribe, or share the podcast with others. Tell them how they can
Good
find
Lord.
out more about us or follow us online.
It's like this AI has actually listened to every podcast that's ever existed. Subscribe, like, and share. That's
In our
hilarious.
defense, I mean, to kind of explain, like I said, I did drop in one of our old show notes, and then I said, I wrote a paragraph, give me a podcast about Fallout, talking about latest news on Fallout and Starfield, and I might have put in the line and tell us to talk about Fallout food. Like I gave it a basic prompt, but then we got this out, and I just felt so called out by this entire thing.
It is pretty, just to look at it and be like, oh yeah, you nailed us.
Yep, there we go. But I mean, hey, if this is what
that's
they
us.
consider a really good podcast about Fallout, then I guess we win.
Yeah, we're good.
That's actually, it's a good way to look at it.
And at the very bottom, too, you'll see one of the neat things about Bing AI is that when it does things for you and does some writing, it'll give you souls and stuff about the topics discussed.
That's awesome.
So there's our AI segment. You asked for it, Andrew. You got it.
All right, we can just, take a break and have the fucking AI program our show from now on. Do you think it could mimic our voices? Our Bob and Alice and Charlie ready to podcast?
Yeah, I
here?
bet I can do a pretty convincing Alice there. Alice.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thanks for pumping that out, Jess. That's really hilarious. Good deal. All right. Well, guys, I have one question for you. Would you like to play a game? Because
Let's go.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
It's game time. This week, for game time, I would like to play a little game called
Mount up!
So, this is a really, really difficult game. You guys, one of the most requested, one of the most favorite referenced games that we play is a little thing called Vuvuzela versus Super Mutant Howl. And we know your success rate at that game.
It's thin. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been called out enough by AI tonight. I don't need you to call me out, too.
It's really, really kind of sad and depressing. Anyway, this is a game almost exactly like that, except for it's not a sound-based game. It's a trivia game. I'm going to be asking you some trivia, but I'm assuming that your success rate is going to be somewhere along the lines of that. I'm not gonna mince words. This is pretty difficult game here, guys. So
We're going to do phenomenal. Just watch.
I don't want to bury you too bad. But I've got 5 questions here. We've got 2 each, and then a tiebreaker if we need. All right, Ray, we will start with you.
Oh, goody.
So here is I'm going to just give you a trivia or a line or a clue. And I would just want you to tell me the answer to each of these. All right, Ray, you're up first. Led by the brutal Caleb, this Fallout 1 faction based in Addington was not necessarily a refuge from raiders, but in reality a fenced-in slave labor camp in the boneyard.
Is that the Regulators?
Mount up.
It is the Regulators, Ray. Very good.
Ray's already beat his
I'm
personal
impressed.
record.
You've crushed it. It's amazing. All right, Jess, this one's for you. With a nod to gunslingers of the Old West, this Fallout 3 organization operating in the Capital Wasteland was known for its distinctive cowboy-style hats and dusters while they seek to dispense quick-draw justice.
Oh, geez. Well, that makes me think of Lucas Sims. I'm going to go with the Regulators.
Mount up.
God, you guys are destroying us already. Ray, okay, back to you, Ray. This group of despicable paramilitary deplorables from the California wasteland would bring back bodies of their main enemies, the Blades, as proof of invasion in order to keep their residents docile and afraid.
I'm going to guess the Regulators.
Mount up.
God, you guys are awesome at this game. I never thought it would be possible. You're amazing. All right, Jess, okay, there's no way you're going to get this one. Back to you. The leader of this Capital Wasteland posse, Sonora Cruz, would place specialized bounties on the worst area criminals, for which fingers of the unjust were used as evidence of the deed.
Oh, not sure if I can quite put my finger on it. I'm going to go with the Regulators.
Mount up.
Jiminy Christmas, you guys are so awesome at this. All right. And
Now, see, that's the question I should have got, because that was the mother of my Roundtable character.
oh, that's awesome. Gosh, you
Sonora?
think if I'd
Nice.
paid
Yeah.
attention to our show, I would have gotten that. And since you guys are both tied, we don't really, well, actually, we do need the tiebreaker here. So first come, first serve. If you buzz in with your name, please.
Ray. Regulators.
Mount up.
Ray, you win. Congratulations.
Regulators. Mount up.
That was Mount Up. And, you know,
I love that game.
with your success rate of this Super Mutant Hound Howl, I didn't have much hope, but you guys really nailed that one. Congratulations. That was a really good game. You guys nailed it.
Thank you. I feel like I've been practicing a long time for that one.
You guys knew it, hands down. All right, that's our game for this week. Thanks for playing. Let's go ahead and roll into some news in our Iguana Bit section.
Okay. Not a ton of Iguana Bits, but maybe the biggest one of them all. We have a Starfield date, people.
Q1 2024.
Wrong. No. The answer is the Regulators. June 11th, we're getting our Starfield Direct. So
Mount up.
after Mount up. After the Xbox conference, which will be June 11th, like normal, there will then be a Starfield Direct immediately following, dedicated to Starfield. A couple good things about that. First, it means there'll probably be other big games they'll talk about during the actual Xbox conference. Makes sense. That way it's not just a headliner there. Then they've got their own Starfield Direct. Now, this is surprising because we did think there'd be one much sooner. The way it was talked about in January, we figured after this, Direct, there'd be another one coming. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We are going to wait till right around E3 time for it. But we do get our Starfield Direct June 11th, and then the game will be coming out September 6th.
Yeah, 2 days after Dragon Gun.
Who had that date on their card? September 6th?
None of us technically.
September
You were the
6th?
closest without going over. You had 7/7. So, July 7th to September 6th, only about 2 months apart.
I think I've been pretty clear it's going to be Q1 2024 this whole time.
You have lately, but you've also been wrong. So
How dare.
obviously that is later than we expected. We all expected that based on what was said at the last, conference last summer, that everything coming out within 12 months. We did think it would be by the end of June. But of course, delays happen. They're working on it, still figuring it out. We know there are a lot of big games coming out. I mean, you've got Zelda, you've got Redfall coming up in May. You've got Diablo in June. You've got Minecraft Legend. Like, Xbox has a number of games coming that they're publishing or big games around it. And so for that reason, and also just polish time and what they need, it's 3 months later. So technically you could call it a second delay. You could say they never gave us a date after canceling the first time, so it's only one delay. But I mean, realistically, it kind of is a second delay because they did say within 12 months, but we got it. It's going to be September. I'm putting in for my time off already for sure.
These things happen in threes, Jess. They've pushed it twice. It's gonna happen again. I just think it's just knowing this company, it's lofty expectations to actually have them release a game when they say they're going to release a game.
Well, it's already been delayed, so I don't see it happening again. But yeah, people let it might go as far as November and, be delayed a full year.
I can
and maybe
picture it
that will
now.
still happen. But honestly, the way I look at it is with big games from Xbox each quarter, it means probably there's going to be another big tentpole game coming October or November from Xbox. Maybe we're going to get, probably not any of the ones from Obsidian yet, although it'd be pretty awesome if Avowed came out or something in November. But probably not ready from what we've heard. But, maybe Hellblade or something like that. Maybe the big game from In Exile. We don't know.
I can just already picture the apologetic article about, we just need to be sure that the game is polished, and it's just not at the point where we feel comfortable releasing the game. They've done that 100 times. They're going to do it again. It's going to happen. I know you already said it happened, but it hasn't really happened because they didn't declare the first day. Like you said, they didn't declare that release day. So, that's getting pushed.
So I hope you're all looking forward to playing Starfield on September 6th when it comes out. Written in ink, absolutely no take-backsies. Stay on your own side of the bathtub. And we're going to get direct on June 11th to get more detail. The reveal video was kind of fun. They showed some screens of people working on the game. They had Todd talking about it. One of the quotes he had was, we've been pouring ourselves into this game, and even we are surprised by how much we can pour. The game is large. And you see some great pictures, and it looks wonderful. It's everything I've hoped. I am really excited, so hopefully we see that in September.
What was the aspect of Fallout 4 that the AI had glommed onto for Starfield? What was it talking about there? Is there an actual article where it says, "Oh, they're using this system from Fallout 4 in Starfield"? Because you said on the AI
talking about
thing,
using the favorites menu being
Starfield
a similar thing.
feature. Oh, just the favorites menu. That was it.
Yeah,
Okay.
just little things people glean. You've got the scanning, which we saw in the original trailer. You've got the settlement or base building system, things like that. So there will be a lot of crossover. It's a new engine, but it's Creation Engine 2. Like, I was just talking with Pat about the other day. So while it's new, it's still based on some of the old code and a lot of new stuff. And there will be a lot of similarities, of course. It's still a Bethesda game. You can tell that from the trailer, from looking at it. Just can't wait. Anyway, that's all for Starfield for now. Let's get into a bug. So there was one bug that a lot of people have been reporting with this last update. We've had it for a week now. And killing robots and turrets with the auto axe. If you have gone to kill a robot with your auto axe or, attack some offending turrets and you're doing no damage, it's because something went wrong. And I don't know if it's certain electric configurations of the auto axe or all of them, but auto axes haven't been damaging robots. So it's not just you if you have that bug going on. Bethesda is aware. It's probably the most reported bug in their forum right now. I already mentioned we have stashes at event locations. That is a cool thing to know. So say you have a gun you like to pull out, for the Queen or for a certain event, so you can go and you can grab it right when you need to instead of having to go to your camp first every time.
So like at the Queen, for instance, would it be at that sort of like little Brotherhood of Steel base like nearby the fissure, or would it be at the fissure site? Where's the stash box going to be located?
So at eviction notice, I can tell you it is, how there's the scrap bench where you can do the weapons bench up on the little balcony area behind where eviction notice takes place. Stash box is up there too. I don't know at the Queen, but if it is, I'm sure it's right at that station.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's been a lot of the major events. So, I think there's one in the courtyard by Palace of the Winding Path when you do the guided meditation.
There's that little shack that's the exit to the mine where there's a workbench there. So it could be there too. I think is there a weapon and a armor?
Are you talking about the glass cavern there, Ray? Is that what you were talking about?
The exit to the glass cavern, it's right there next to the bunker, the little wooden shack.
Right.
So it's already got the workbenches there.
Oh, the sort of barn with the elevator in the back of it,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
right.
So I haven't seen them at all of them, but I do know that they're supposedly at most of the major events. So I haven't gone to look for it at every location yet. But I think when I was looking at the list of locations where they were, there were about 6 of them. So that's quite a few.
Fun.
Too short double score. We did get double score last weekend, but it was only from Saturday at noon to Monday at noon, as we had talked about. So some people were like, "Wait, when did double score happen? Like, I didn't didn't get this
Yeah.
yesterday."
That's usually
depending on timing, you might have only had it for one day.
Right. Gosh, yeah, that's usually like Thursday to Monday.
Mhm.
Good Lord.
But it was just to make good for some auto completed challenges and the issue with XP rollover and such. And then I marked people already done. Just good on you. Good on you, mate. Great work. Impressed. Already, Mo cannot believe he's using it so early.
That's only 2 weeks.
It's going to be a good 10 weeks for me. But yeah, people already on Scorecation. That is awesome.
That's amazing. Hey, I heard Alex mention, oh man, I need to bring a throwing weapon for these reflective enemies. Now, okay, reflective enemy means the enemy has a chance of bouncing the damage that you were going to do to it back onto you. Am I understanding the mutation correctly?
That's the reflective, yes.
Reflective. Now, a throwing weapon wouldn't bounce back to you for some reason? I was just trying to understand, because I think Alex said, oh man, for those reflective Scorch Beast queens, I need to craft myself some throwing weapons. I'm like, why wouldn't that damage bounce back to you as well?
Oh, neat. Yeah, it might just be programmed as a different category not to come back at you like the melee would.
I didn't. And then, like, what are you going to be doing? Like, sitting there at the Scorch Beast Queen throwing those little fucking knives at it? Like, that's not going to do anything. They're just going to bounce off of it. That's not going to do anything to a Scorch Beast Queen. They're going to be like, take your little knives elsewhere, please.
I mean, you can do your cleavers, your knives, your throwing axes, yeah.
Yeah.
Quick look at the Atomic Shop. There is a kick-ass Fallout First owl in there. If you haven't seen the owl yet, the owl is awesome. It comes in a square cage. He's like super flappy and cute.
Do
you not like the owl?
I was shocked when I looked at that. Because, I mean, I know that it's prevalent in the Harry Potter series, but seriously, who keeps an owl permanently in a fucking tiny-ass little cage like that? I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Owls roam hundreds of miles, like, looking for food. You cannot keep
We were talking about
a
that
giant
with
owl
friends.
in a tiny cage. I thought, oh my God, that's so terrible. I don't want that in my camp.
It's
pathetic.
twice the size. It's like twice the size of the other bird cages, but it is still really small. Yeah,
And
I
and
agree.
go ahead and calculate an owl size in comparison to a goddamn cardinal. Okay, it's like 10 times the size, but the cage is only twice the size. Gee whiz.
Yeah, so
we
the
need
owl is
an
really cool.
aviary where we can just let our birds fly, right?
The cage is really cool. We need an aviary. You're totally right.
That's what I want. Give me an aviary. Oh, put it in that glass dome. That'll work. Just make a glass dome big enough to fit the whole camp size, right? Just a big glass dome. That'll work.
We also got fat stacks. Fat stacks of prefab, which looks like kind of like a 3-tier cake on top of each other. Fun little prefab. And that's about it for new stuff. Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked through that much. But yeah, I'm going to visit my atomic shop. I got some atoms to burn.
The nuclear test shelter is really quite cool too.
What's that like?
Well, it's another shelter, an underground one, and it's got a cool little area. You can look through the window and you can see a nuclear blast, and it's neat. Some people have gotten in there too, and it's actually like an empty, like deserty area.
Ooh. Hey, I think we were on a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you took me somewhere, and I was like, oh, hey, this is kind of like Vault 88. Is that the one? Was that Vault 88 sort of esque?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, neat. Fun. Go check it out, everyone.
So is the reflective mutation also called resilient?
Yes. I think.
Okay.
Wait, is it? Is it
know.
resilient or reflective? I thought it was reflective. Maybe it's resilient.
Because
No,
in
resilient is the healing
patch, in the patch notes, it says that The resilient mutation throwing weapons and pain drain can now finish off enemies with resilient mutation.
Okay. Yeah, so I think resilient is the one that actually requires melee. And so you're able to use throwing weapons with melee, maybe.
So the throwing weapon is considered a melee attack. Interesting.
Yeah, resilient is the killed by melee only. That is what that one is, separate from reflective.
Okay.
I was
don't
probably
see any notes on
misspeaking.
reflective.
I was probably misspeaking. I was most likely the resilient that he was referring to. Makes sense. All right. That looks like the end of the iguana bit section there. Was there anything else you guys needed to get into this evening?
I think we are all good. Yeah, just checking Reddit for top stories and stuff like that. But nothing I really need to shout out.
Sweet. Sounds good. Everyone keep your podcatchers, keep your eye on your podcatchers for a No Man's Sky episode coming out soon, Ray. Hint, hint.
Yeah, so funny thing about that.
Oh, no. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
I was refreshing my podcatcher frantically this week.
Yeah. So, as Baker and Pantagruelia sat patiently waiting in Discord,
Oh no, Ray fell asleep.
for me to show up, I was fast asleep on the couch.
Oh no.
Which was especially bad because we'd already missed 2 weeks of recording. So,
oh god, that's hilarious.
It was, yeah. I woke up and I was like, crap.
Just that story alone is worth not having the show for 3 weeks. That's hilarious. That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
well, space friends, keep your eye on your podcatcher in a week from now or so.
we've
How
got
about
so
that?
much to talk about now. It's not even funny.
It's been a month. Yeah.
Keeping us in suspense about what Baker got up to on his journey and other such things.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't
right.
even record your show at midnight like we do.
No. Yeah, I would have been fine then.
It's just not fine earlier in the day.
No.
It's during my nap time. Scheduled nap for retired people. All right, you guys. Well, I think that sounds like a good show for tonight. Jess, thank you so much for hopping on. Everyone, please head on over to @YouWastelanders if you'd like to see more AI content on the Wastelanders podcast, starring Charlie, Bob, and Alice. Jess, @YouWastelanders. Also, @Dames2Game and @SleepIsForTea. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Thanks. Have a great night, all.
Ray can be found at BBCISSS for all your No Man's Sky needs, and at RayLB. Ray, thanks so much.
Good times.
I can be found at Indie Android. The show is at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
If you can sneak up and get her fixed,
So I popped that achievement off.
you can sneak in there,
And I'm hitting the crevice just right.
give her a quick cattle prod.
Think I'm going to yak.